Hello and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Irfan bin Ahmad Nurisham, and today my team, Muhammad Zulfikri, Abdul Hadi and Nick Muhammad Khairun, will going to present to you on the varieties of English, especially on Pakistani English. So let's get into it. For our first speaker, it's Mr. Said Razi, 35. He's an entrepreneur, and in spite of being born and raised in Punjabi-speaking areas, he migrated to Islamabad for a job. Okay, so he basically Punjabi-speaking areas means in the Punjab province, and Islamabad is also in the Punjab province, but it's the city. And based on his accent and voice, his English is derived from Pakistani's native language, which we're going to hear it in the end of the presentation. So first, we asked him on how do you feel about the growing influence of English in Pakistan and globally. Surprising to us, he stated that English is not spreading as rapidly in his country as how we anticipated it, because he said that the residents of Lahore do not use English as frequently as educated residents. However, when you look back in Pakistan's history, it reveals a different picture, reveals a different story, because they were also a member of the British Empire until 1947 when they declared independence from India. Because back then they used to be together, just like us. Pakistan is considered as a country in the Cutthroat Outer Circle because we were colonized by the British alongside Malaysia. Okay, so next question. Can you tell us a bit about the language history in Pakistan? He discussed that the English language history in Pakistan begins in the British Empire colonization days to 1947, where Pakistan gained independence from India, which I explained earlier. Just like other countries in Cutthroat Outer Circle, such as Malaysia and other Commonwealth countries, the English language arrived with the colonizers. And it has been with us in a variety of ways. Even our parliament is following Westminster. So in the next question, we moved on to how does Pakistan's English language evolve over time? Okay, so when we asked him, he said that it can only evolve based on its frequency of use, which is true. More you use it, more you get better at it. But however, from his point of view, the development did not occur. This can be speculated and debated. Maybe from where he came, he came from cities outside of the cosmopolitan cities such as Islamabad, Hyderabad, and Lahore. Okay, so it is safe to assume that he does not have the same opportunities to learn English as those with elite status who can afford to send their children to better schools, such as if you send someone to a better school, they get better education. So unlike his case, he may come from rural areas. And last question that I will present to you is how much does English influence the Pakistanis? And when we asked, he said that he emphasized that the Punjabi people preference for Punjabi over English, and he also emphasized Pakistan's use of Urdu, Sindhi, Baluchi, Pashto, and other languages. And despite all these differences of all these different languages, Urdu remains the first language and in an informal communication medium, so it's the language of the day. However, even with this status, English continues to be on top, especially it was employed as a gatekeeper language, particularly in government bodies and agencies, as well as professional jobs such as doctors or engineers. So if you want to have professional jobs, you must know English. So that's how it is even in Malaysia. But now in Malaysia, we add Mandarin to it. So I think that's all from me. I'm going to pass it to my friend Muhammad Zulfikri for the next questions. Thank you.
For the fifth question, we ask, can you show us some example of Pakistan's English language localization? For the interviewer answer, mostly we use the word na. As I can give you an example, the word faster, we will put the word na behind it, like faster na or wrong na, like that. Pakistani use na to end their word, which means na. For the elaboration, as we can see, the interviewer already showing some example of Pakistan English language localization. In Pakistan, British English spelling are used, British English is used in every other English-speaking country, so most of the time, Pakistani will not need to change their spelling. What is the relationship between your mother tongue, Urdu or Pashto, your localized English, and the English language itself? For the interviewer answer, it is different thing because Urdu is our first country language and being used in school since standard 1. While my mother language is Punjabi, English and localized English only being used by educated people like army or doctor. For this elaboration, Pakistani speak a mix of three languages which is Urdu, Punjabi and English. Although Urdu and Punjabi is being used by most Pakistani, the English and localized English is only being used by upper people who have education. According to Coleman and Capstick in their book Language Education in Pakistan, it is true that Urdu is widely used as a Pakistan national language. Also, it stated that English language is only being used by government, the military and higher education. It is the language that being used by elite class only in Pakistan. To what extent has the use of English challenged local language norm or attitude? For the interviewer answer, most of Pakistani people don't like to communicate in English because they feel insecure and not confident enough to speak in English. Some of them proud with their local language. If you use English in Pakistan, perhaps there's not many people able to communicate. Islamabad and Karachi are a city where you can communicate English without a problem since most of the people there have a mix, like some of them staying outside and some of them staying in Pakistan. For this elaboration, as stated by Saria and Mumtaz from their journal, issue of English language learners in communication at intermediate level in Pakistan, there are only 20% students prefer to speak English, while 80% other students refuse to speak English and preferring speaking in their mother tongue and other local language. This shown that they are not so confident to talk in English and rather to stick with their mother tongue and local language. Islamabad and Karachi is the city where you have no issue to communicate in English, especially Karachi, who is the largest city in Pakistan. According to Wikipedia, Karachi is one of Pakistan's most cosmopolitan city and as well as most secular and socially liberal cities. No wonder this city of light have so many people who can communicate in English language since it was their capital city.
Hello and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ni Muhammad Khairun and we'll be discussing about our second speaker, which is Ibrahim. So the background of him is that he is 16 years old. He is a student from Saudi International School in the capital of Saudi Arabia. He is born in Riyadh and speaks Urdu for his first language. So when he was asked what did he feel about the growing influence of English in his country and globally, Ibrahim understood the importance of English as an expanding power which their society willingly accept English as their communicative language. When asked regarding whether or not English is good to have as their second language, Ibrahim agreed. However, English in the BA examination is extremely low, as stated 22%, which remained for quite years. This negatively affects students' morale and confidence. So, moving on. So, from what he can tell regarding his English language history in his country, Ibrahim rehearsed his country when Pakistan and India was ruled by England. So, it was dated back in 1947 when Pakistan and India was ruled under one flag. The East India Company allowed taking missionaries to India because long-standing ban prohibition on missionaries were removed. They were free to open schools that are model of schools in England and primarily use English as it was considered as elite. After post-independence, Pakistan and India went separate, but English remained as their medium to communicate. English now was used as the language of the ruling elite to perform their official duties. So, what does he feel about country English language evolve over time? Ibrahim emphasized his point that the usage of internet changes their English over the years, similar with other nations. They are slowly adapting with a mixture of old English, which can now refer as modern English, but then it was modernized in internet, and that they tend to use back in the day rather than today. Ibrahim stated that they are stating to absorb English as their main language. And how much does English influence his nation? Ibrahim respond by saying that Urdu and English has been embedded together, that they are developing an answer whenever they speak English. Some example that has been given by Ibrahim in the interview are similar to some extent, where some placement and quality of the epithetic vowels spoken by native speakers of Urdu and Punjabi.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hadi, and today I want to present about a presentation about English in Pakistan. And for a quick interview, our interviewee named Ibrahim, 16 years old, and a student from Saudi International School in capital of Saudi Arabia, born in Riyadh. And um, Ibrahim speaks Urdu for his first language. Okay, all right. So slide. History of language. For the questions, number 5. Can you show us some example of your country English language localization? Right. During interview, Ibrahim's very shy to tell us because of unavoidable reason or factors that he can't talk. He can't tell us an example. But English in Urdu used to replace the Urdu words that not exist, which means there is no words in Urdu that can use in English. Which, for example, like a flower pot, there is no pot in Urdu, meaning so they can't use it. They don't have a pot in Urdu, so they take the English to replace it. Um, for example, for Urdu people, there's a little bit difference, which has a little pop when they say the T letter. Not much people in Pakistan make that sound, mostly from southern India. For Pakistan, s- they are usually speak letter V sound like we. Not only because of they are purely from history political, from their past history, political education and economic politics can be the reason for English um, has been localized. Right. Next question. The sixth question: relationship between mother tongue localized English and English language. From what Abraham tell, English become a second language in Pakistan, and they they share its their early history of the English with India, spread by the military in 19th century by a British Empire. They opened the elite school and college to make English for the elite, share the status of English an official language alongside Urdu after independence in 1947. Social aspect also English language and other example for administration and self-communication contact between Urdu and English start from the borrowing of the vocabulary. Pakistan is a multi-language country which with at least 69 living languages may be predicted to speak English differently, which strengthened Brahim point which English is interchangeable. Last question. To what extent has the use of English challenged local language norms or attitude? Actually, there are several hiccups that has been working in Pakistan uh, which hampered their ability to speak in English. Ibrahim stated that English language become a challenge for the youngster and even for their culture. Youngsters use a lot of energy when they need to learn English. For the same time, they also need to learn the Urdu. In Pakistan, they not pay not much attention for learning English. Uh, They learn English just to communicate with the other people, such as a tourist. For that reason, they actually for their because of their culture, and some research tell that students they usually speak in Urdu because they don't want to feel far from their family. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Careful. Hello. Okay, pin to main screen. Tak fikir tu Gi, bila time kau cakap, mute mic kau tau. Bila aku cakap kau mute mic.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi. Okay.
hi.
Okay,
How are
so
you?
hey, Alhamdulillah, I'm very fine. All right. So I think my aunt has briefed you on what you can say and what you can't say. Like you have to say that you are Pakistan from Pakistan. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So are you ready? You okay? You ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
All right. We're going to start now. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
taala wabarakatuh to everyone. And today with me here is my interviewee from Pakistan. And let's start the interview with the introduction. So how are you, sir? Can you tell us your
I'm
name?
fine. How about you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very fine. Can you tell us your name and where you are from?
Yeah, my name is Sayyid Razi. I staying in Pakistan, Islamabad,
Ah,
and
okay.
I'm doing my own business in Rawalpindi. It's a twin city,
Ah,
so we call Rawalpindi Islamabad like that.
okay, thank you. Okay, so let us not dilly dally anymore. So this is my first
Okay.
question. How do you feel about the growing influence of English in Pakistan and globally?
Actually, in Pakistan, the growing English influence not so high. Like in other words, it's not like so important, and people here don't really use English except to those who educated. And I also depends on the states. It also depends on the states such as like Islamabad, Lahore, Karachi. While globally, I guess English one of the important language, which is some country mostly they use their first or second language.
Okay, thank you. So it's not really that popular in Pakistan.
No, it's not. It's not. No.
Okay. So thank you. We will move on to the second question. My friend, my partner here will ask you the second question.
Alright. Assalamualaikum, sir. Alright.
Waalaikumsalam.
For my question, can you tell us about the English language history in Pakistan?
English language history in Pakistan is like through come to British only is like 1857 to 1947 you can consider. Actually, is other than any other sources, it's not like that.
Or
Only
you start
British while they are here, they bring only.
you start back then when
Yeah.
I see. Okay,
It's
thank you.
it's 1857 to 1947 like that. Like
Alright.
during that globalization like that. They are here, so they used to do.
Thank you for your answer. I pass to Irfan back.
Okay, thank you, my friend, Ms. Zulfikri. Okay, for the third question, does Pakistan's English language evolve over time? Does it change back then and today? Is there any differences?
Yeah, actually, Irfan, this is depends on the person how frequent the person use English in our daily days. But my opinion, it doesn't. It doesn't so much involve. It's not
Okay,
like yeah.
so it stays that way since the British, so it stays that way.
Yeah. Since British come, they like after Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, like 1857. After that, they try like slowly they enter to India, Pakistan. Then they stay there till 1947. So
Oh,
during that time, like they uh, speak English, so slowly it's converted to people like that, like just like a globalization, you can see. But
okay.
during that time, also like people only like not like low level people, like high class people only use it. Still now, like you can see India, like they're still using like so many people like they speak English because they are different in Pakistan, different in India. After 100 kilometers, language change. So they are most important. But Pakistan, like our language also changed after like 200, 300, but not so much because mostly people Punjabis, Pashtun like that. But we mostly use Urdu, our own language.
Oh, okay. So basically, English is it's different in different areas. So in
Yeah,
here
yeah,
it's different. It's different. Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's new. Okay. So thank you. We will move on to the next question.
Alright. Okay, for the fourth question. How much does English influence in Pakistan? I mean, in the country.
It does not influence so much since we use our first country language that which one is Urdu. So let me explain. Like in Pakistan has a plenty of languages like let's suppose Urdu, Sindhi, Balochi, Pashto, Saraiki, and etc. But therefore, since our government makes Urdu as our first language, so mostly to communicate with each other in Urdu. Like let's suppose you
Oh,
go any other state, let's suppose Sindh or Balochistan or anywhere, people must know Urdu. So mostly we communicate each other in Urdu.
so basically the English language does not influence so much in
No,
Pakistan.
no,
They
no,
use
no,
Urdu.
no. It's just nothing, nothing. It's not anything important or like that. You must have to know. It's not like that. Like some
Alright.
other countries, you have to, but no.
Okay, thank you. Irfan.
Okay, thank you. Also, that I thought that's just Urdu in Pakistan. There's a lot of languages,
Yeah,
right?
Urdu is the Urdu most important. Like if you don't know Urdu, you got problem.
Oh,
But English
okay.
or the language you can.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So, as you explained, there's a lot of languages in Pakistan, right? So,
Yeah.
for my next question, if you can demonstrate us a few words as well, it would be nice. Can you show us some examples of Pakistan's English language localization? Like, how does the language evolve in
Yeah,
the
it's
language?
yes, like it's a quite little funny, but it's okay. We still use it. Like mostly we used to say na. Let's suppose that I can give you example. Like if anybody asks you faster, they will not say fast or faster or fast. They will say faster na like that. Or then let's suppose you are wrong. They will not say to you, oh, you are wrong. They say, "Oh, wrong na like that. You like can be confused little bit. Let's suppose like it's a little bit silly, but there less people they call spade. They use add throwing, like they add ing on that one. So
Okay.
it's just like that.
Okay. So and then
So
there's
basically,
different.
I mean to say like they used to say na na like anything they use they afterwards they use na like wrong na fast na just like that.
Oh, okay. So you add new syllables to it. And then there's differences in how you pronounce letters as well, right? Like you don't pronounce the letter T, you pronounce the letter ta. Like that's a click sound, right? Like
Yeah,
how
but
you
actually because it's not so influenced, that's why people don't know how to use it. So
Oh.
some different kind of people use different. Like if
Mm.
you are really from there, you can understand. But if you are not, then I don't think so. You can or this one because they mix with their own language.
Ah, okay.
Let's
That's
suppose
new.
you SMS to anyone also, like
Mm.
they use English, but what spell they make, what
Ah,
what they make, like you have to understand that. Oh, actually, he mean to say like that. While talking, also you have to understand that. Oh, actually, they are saying like that.
oh, okay. Understood. All right. So we're going to move to the second last question. Okay, Zulfikri.
Yeah, for the second last question, this is quite the same. I want to ask you, what is the relationship between your mother tongue, Urdu or Pashto, your localized English, and the English language itself?
It's totally different, Muhammad. It's totally different things. Urdu is our first country language, and it's language that we've been used since from school standard one or standard two like that. And while our mother language, like for me, my mother language is Punjabi. So I used all the times, especially when I stayed in Punjab province, the localized English and English only used between those educated people such as army or doctors, professional people, like they use like that. Otherwise, different, difficult. Like you, this kind of like.
Thank you for your answer.
Okay, we're going to move on to the last question. Okay, this question is a bit tricky, but the question is, to what extent has the use of English challenged local language norms or attitudes? For example, like in Malaysia, like me, I'm in Malaysia. Back then, Chinese language is not considered as a norm, but now most of us have to learn Chinese because it's a norm for your for your workplace. So does it happen to be the same in Pakistan where you have to learn English so that you can go to work or maybe you can involve in anything?
No, 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 no. It depends on the place, but in Pakistan, it's not like that. Like the place, like and states, most of the Pakistani people don't like to communicate in English because maybe they feel shy or to speak, or maybe like they are not confident to talk about that, talk in English. But some of them, they are proud. They are proud that their own language, and like very seldom people use English. But if you use English, there are perhaps very few able to communicate fluently. It's like according to me, like Islamabad, Lahore, and Karachi, like there maybe you can speak because they're like from Islamabad and Karachi especially, like these two cities, they're mostly people, they are like they're having a like double nationality, like they are from UK also and they got Pakistani nationality also. So they mix there, like some of them stay outside, some of them stay in Pakistan, so they communicate with each other in English. So that's why when you go to Islamabad, you feel totally different. Like once you go to shop also, you have to speak English sometimes.
Mm.
And Karachi also are same because it's the biggest city of Pakistan. Other than that, Irfan don't have any like influence or very important. You have to know English or anything. Like we only communicate in our own language. Urdu
Ah,
is like most important. You know Urdu, you can go anywhere. You don't know Urdu, like a little bit tricky, difficult.
okay. So basically, is English is very important in Islamabad is the city, right? It's the
Yeah,
city.
Islamabad.
Oh.
Not so important. Not so important. But like let's suppose if you going there for some serious reason or anything, like it's okay. You can bring with like normally people do what they bring any friend. Okay, let's suppose if they want to talk or anything. Okay. Otherwise not.
Okay. Okay, I see. That's very nice to see because even in Malaysia, it's like a bit of sharing in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Kuala Lumpur is the city where you have to learn how to at least understand. Okay, so if you've been to Kuala Lumpur one day, you will be in Kuala Lumpur. So uh, maybe we can experience this together. So I guess that's the questions that we have for today, since time is not on our side. So I thank you very much to Mr.
Okay.
Saidrazi.
Most welcome. No problem. No
Okay,
problem.
thank you very much for
Yeah,
assisting
thank you.
us with the interview, and we will
No
see
problem.
you again next time. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah.
Anytime, anytime. Okay.
Assalamualaikum
Thank you.
warahmatullahi
Walaikum
wabarakatuh.
salam.
We're going to start with the first question. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the first question is, how do you feel about the growing influence of English in your country and globally? So in your country, we talk about Pakistan. We're not talking about Saudi.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think regarding worldwide or globally, I think English is providing a good medium of exchange, a good, a good way in which everyone can communicate with understanding each other. And the growing influence in our country, of course, that enables us to communicate properly with people of other nationalities. So it's keeping us, up to date. It keeps up with the times, basically. So yeah, I think it's one language that we all understand. So the growing influence is good, obviously.
Okay. All right. So you feel that it's good that English is
Of
growing
course.
in your
Yep.
country. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Same as us. It's a good medium, especially in Saudi
Of
Arabia.
course.
Because we
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
speak Arabic, sometimes we can't speak Arabic, and then we don't understand, and they don't understand English. So I think it's a good thing as well. So for the next question, I'll pass on to my friend Muhammad Zulfikri for the next question.
Alright. Hello, Ibrahim. So, for
Hello.
my question, can you
Mhm.
tell us about the English language history in your country, in Pakistan?
Right. So basically, before 1947, Pakistan, it used to be with India and Bangladesh, of course. It used to be a colony of Britain. So Britain, it used to rule over Pakistan. So that's basically where most of the country they learned English from. So yeah, that's where English originated from our country. We had English currency. Most of us conversed with English and with people of other nationalities and the Brits, of course. And yeah, it's basically because we were a colony of Britain. So that's how English was introduced in our country.
Oh, back in 1947, right?
47, yeah.
Alright, okay. I think that's all. Pass to Nick.
Alright, thank you, APK. So hello, Ibrahim. My question is that
Hello.
does your country English language evolve from over time?
Uh, I think it evolves just like it evolved for other countries, right? Because especially in the age of the internet, of the computer, of course. So it's evolving as the English language is evolving with other countries. So I think right now at least it's evolving the same rate. But before we had internet and stuff, I think we used to use a little bit of old English and we kind of adapted our language to it. So we kind of used Urdu words, Urdu our language words with English and vice versa. So now at least I think it's evolving, how it's evolving for the rest of the world.
I believe that since Pakistan is starting to absorb English, right, as your main language, right? Can you say that it's
Our
starting to
main
evolve?
language is Urdu. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Hadi.
Um,
Assalamualaikum, Ibrahim. My name
so,
is Abdul Hadi. So, my question is, how much does English influence your nations?
like I said, the English language is affected our own language, and at least in our country, our language has somewhat affected English. So sometimes some words are used interchangeably with other words. So like we use English words for some words in Urdu. So yeah, I think English has become an important, almost part of fabric of our language, right? So yeah, I think it's become pretty much essential. Even for people who don't know English, they do know a bit of English words because everyone around them, everyone in society uses them. So yeah, I think English is a big part of our country now.
Alright, thank you, Ibrahim. So, I pass to Irfan.
All
All
right.
right, thank you. So,
Mm-hmm.
for the next question, I would love for you to demonstrate the answers to us as well, because I think we can
Okay.
find a few common ground here. Because my mother is Pakistani, but she was born
All
in
right.
Malaysia. So, and then we watch
Oh,
the same Hindustan drama sometimes. We watch the Bollywood dramas
right.
sometimes.
Perfect. Perfect.
So, and then you can
Yeah.
hear the English. Okay. So, the
Mm-hmm.
next question is, can you show us some examples of your country's English localization? Like for example, like me and my brother, we're both Malaysians, and
Mm-hmm.
and my friends here, we are Malaysians as well. So in
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia, we used to the English language that we localize is the word lah. Okay, like everything we put lah behind. So if sometimes you see my brother speak like, what is this lah? Lah is English
Right.
localization. So what's
Right.
in Pakistan? What is some few phrases or lexicons that
Uh,
you guys localize?
right. Pretty hard question. Um, Let me think about it. So, like, there are some words basically. It's not like for you. It's the law thing. So for us, we've used some basic words. For example, I don't know, flower pot. We don't have any actual word for pot. So use the English words to describe words for it's mostly just objects. So use English words for objects for if we don't have any Urdu words for them. So yeah, it is at least an informal Urdu, right? So yeah, in English we use the English language for describing objects basically. We don't have any particular phrases and stuff like that.
Can you demonstrate it for us? The one phrase, like flower
It's not,
pot, for
yeah,
example.
like, yeah, it's not really a phrase. It's just object. Same thing. Like I said, pot and I don't know. For example, curtains, right? We don't really have a word for curtains in Urdu. In informal Urdu, we usually just use the word curtain and stuff like that.
Oh.
What I don't know. Yeah.
So and then about this is I'm not stereotyping. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
Yeah, yeah.
We usually even Indian people and Pakistani people they like to how they pronounce the letter T is different. Like a st, right? It's a t, but
Oh,
for
yeah.
yeah, right. There's a
Yeah.
tick sound, right?
Yeah. It's mostly just I haven't seen many Pakistanis use it like that. It's mostly just Indians, and even for Indians, I think Southern Indians use it that much, but for Pakistanis, I haven't seen it that much. But there are other stuff like I don't know, V we pronounce as we stuff like that. We use the W and V. Yeah. So that's common, but that thing it's mostly just Indian.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to move around the clock now. So we have two more questions. So Zulfikri, next
Alright.
question. Come on, keep it up, boy.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Irfan. For my question is, what is the relationship between your mother tongue, your localized English, and the English language itself?
Right. So I think this question bears some sort of resemblance to the previous question.
Yeah.
Relation between mother tongue. So as I said, there's some words that are used interchangeably with English in the Urdu language, and yeah, I think it's the same thing basically.
Basically the same answer. All right. Let's see. Okay, thank you. We move to next.
Alright, thank you. Thank you, Zulfikri. Okay, so my last question will be that to what extent has the use of English challenge local language norms and attitudes?
Right. So the English language, it's kept us up with the times. So not just as a language, it's affected our culture as well. So nowadays, mostly with the newer generation, they use most of their energy to learn English, right? So if you go to my home country, not many people pay that much, I don't know, importance. Maybe that's not the right word, but you get my point. They don't pay that much attention to our own local language. They just use it as a form of communication for other people. So yeah, I think it's English. It has impacted our culture quite heavily. So like for example, we didn't. Yeah, it's the culture. So for example, the international culture. I don't know, songs and stuff. That's affected our own songs and stuff too. So yeah, it's mostly just a cultural impact and stuff.
Alright, thank you. Thank you for the question.
Okay.
For answer.
Thank you, brother, for the very concise, precise, and amazing answers from you. I do.
Thank you.
My brother is grateful to have a friend like you. Okay, you can teach him a bit.
Thank you.
My brother's
Likewise.
here, by the way. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, thank you for assisting us with our project. This is our school
problem.
project, by the way. So yeah, I think that's all. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.